All right, what's going on, y'all? Today we're going to talk about how to make $10,000 a month or more as a fitness coach. We're going to talk about how realistic that is, and then I'm going to give you 3 points that aren't talked about very often, and this will set you up for making at least $10,000 a month as a fitness coach. This is something I've seen so many coaches, whether they're in-person trainers or online fitness coaches, essentially just keep spinning their wheels with and have trouble getting started coaching and then frankly find any success at all with it. Because let's be frank, it's somewhat saturated now in 2025. It seems like everybody and their mom is trying to make it in the fitness industry. But with that being said, you absolutely can make well over $10,000 a month if you do things right. So we're going to talk about how realistic it actually is. And I'm going to give you some points that will absolutely set you up for success for making at least $10,000 a month or more. So, these videos are pretty popular on YouTube right now. The how to make $10,000 a month or more as a fitness coach. But one thing I've seen with a lot of them is they essentially will trickle out a little bit of information for you, and then they try to get you into their coaching course or mentorship on, selling you their service essentially of making you a fitness coach. It's essentially coaches trying to train coaches, which is fine. That's their business model. I have nothing to sell here for you guys. I have helped many people throughout the years make money online, back in e-commerce, way back in the day when I did that before I went into the fitness industry, became an IFBB pro bodybuilder. But then since then, I've also helped many people find success in the fitness industry as well. With that being said, being a fitness coach is my passion. My passion's not being a business coach. While I enjoy that, I've got nothing here to sell for you guys. So my whole plan here is that I'm going to set up a series, and this is going to be the first video in this series on actually helping you guys become successful in the fitness industry as a fitness coach. This is what I love to do, and I love seeing others, have success, helping others, transform their life in fitness as well. So this is going to be kind of a no BS series for you guys on how to actually not only get started, but become really successful doing this. So first off, how realistic is this? There is still so much money and opportunity in the fitness industry. It grows and it keeps growing rapidly. More and more people are entering the fitness space in all different fitness modalities, whether that's, bodybuilding, whether that's running, whether that's hybrid athlete, calisthenics, whatever. More and more people are latching onto a healthy lifestyle and wanting to go hard in fitness. So that leaves a lot of opportunity for trainers and coaches. With that being said, I have ran into so many trainers throughout the years, especially in-person trainers, that they barely are able to make ends meet. One, they can't max out their client roster, and then two, if they max out their client roster, they are working to the absolute bone to essentially just make ends meet. If you think about how many client slots you'd have to have per day as an in-person trainer and always have those filled to just make ends meet, it ends up being quite a lot. You're going to be working a lot, which is fine. Work is good. But with that being said, it's pretty hard, especially if you're just starting out, to essentially max out your books as an in-person trainer enough that you can really, really make it. So that's where the biggest point here is that you've got to have an online product. You got to have online coaching that you can provide for clients. So that could be, you providing weekly check-ins with personalized, training and diet. That's personally what I do. I have weekly check-ins with my clients, and then I provide them custom training coaching with diet coaching. And then, I'm tapering up their training and their diet as needed based off of the weekly check-ins. It's very, very, very personalized. But with this, you can scale this to the moon. You can essentially scale this much, much, much greater than in-person training. Instead of having an in-person training slot, say, that's an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours long per one client, now in that same 2 hour time period, you could be servicing multiple different clients, paying you, $250, $300, $350 a month. So this is where you can see you can scale to $10,000 a month or way more very, very, very quickly. So how realistic is this? So a lot of people, think that, I got my IFBB Pro card, and then that's when I found success as a fitness coach. And the reality is yes, The pro card was social proof for my bodybuilding coaching, but I was already making over $10,000 a month before I had my IFBB pro card. Before then, I was an ultra runner and I was helping mainly hybrid athletes before I got my pro card. I had a few bodybuilders on my clients, but I had a pretty hefty online coaching roster just as a hybrid athlete. Working with hybrid athletes, and I was making over $10,000 a month doing that. Once I got my pro card, and that was great social proof for the bodybuilding, for the past several years, I make well over $10,000 a month with my online coaching. So it is very, very realistic, to make at least $10,000 a month. And if you do really well in this and you become somewhat of a personality in this space, you can make a pretty drastic, amount more than $10,000 a month. So, the whole point here is that if you do the right steps and you really, really do work at this, that's the point we're going to get to later in the video, you absolutely can make $10,000 a month. And frankly, guys, it's not really that hard. If you know what you're doing with fitness and you know how to give people the results, and that's something you're going to need to have. You need to have the skill set to actually help people get the results, whether that's fat loss, whether that's muscle building, whether that's, you training them up for a race. You've got to know what you're doing, not just, you were able to train yourself for one race or you were able to lose 10 pounds yourself. While you can still help people there, there's a lot of different individual clients out there that have unique needs. You need to be real with yourself on, do you have the skill set yet to actually do this? If you do, you can make great money as a fitness coach. So first point I've got for you is we got to get rid of limiting beliefs. I was talking to someone very recently about this, and they honestly have a pretty fantastic physique. They've been specifically in bodybuilding for a while, and they have a lot of knowledge in this space, a lot more than I would consider even other fitness coaches. And they felt like they don't have enough knowledge yet to start coaching people. That he literally said to me that he feels like he's got to be at my physique level or my experience level to start coaching. Guys, I started coaching way back in the day, way before I have the knowledge and experience I have now. One thing, if you are going to go in this field, you are signing up to be gaining more and more experience over time. You should try to become an expert in your field. But with that being said, you don't have to be an expert yet to be making great money in this. And I told him, let's say on the alphabet scale, A to Z, let's say you're at point H. If you're at point H, everybody from A to H essentially can gain value from you. So if you're at, if you're at point F, then you can take someone that's only at point C that just started maybe 6 months ago, and you absolutely can give them great value and help them have a great transformation, whether that's weight loss, muscle building, training up for a race, whatever it is. So the point here is that you don't need to be an expert in your field yet. You're going to gain that experience over time if you're doing things right. And, you shouldn't be a lazy coach here. And there's a lot of those out there. And this is where it's also back to, how realistic is it? There's not that many great coaches out there, guys. I'm telling you that 90%-ish of fitness coaches just frankly aren't that great at what they do. And they start making money, they get a client roster, and they get really, really lazy. If you are someone that's passionate about this, you can really, really beat the competition per se. So, you got to get rid of your limiting beliefs. If you have the knowledge, and you've already proved it within yourself, and maybe you've already started to prove it within, maybe a client here or there or a friend, you've got the skill set to help others out there. So don't feel like you don't have enough to get rolling with this. You don't need that much to make $10,000 a month with this. All right, so point number 2 is how to set this up. So you need an online fitness coaching model. This is back to what I said a minute ago. If you're just doing the in-person route, it's going to make it very, very, very tough for you. I do in-person training as well, but I literally max out my in-person client roster with 5 people. One, to not take up too much of my time, and it's really meant for my ultra serious athletes. Sometimes it's like celebrity names, influencers. I work with very, very select people, and I've got a massive waiting list for my in-person roster, but this is not where I am trying to really make money. It's once again, fitness coaching is my passion, and I love working with people in person. But I would not recommend you go hard in that and take up too much of your time. It's going to take away from you building your online business, and that's where you're going to need to have that to really scale up to past $10,000 a month. And so, with that, if you are starting as an in-person trainer, great. Now you've got people already on your roster that you can use as transformations, because you can use those transformations to get you that initial momentum. And that's how you really kind of get the snowball going. So if you already are an in-person trainer, don't be discouraged with that. If anything, you have something working in your favor that someone just trying to start out the gates as an online coach doesn't have. Unless someone has already a social media presence built up, it's going to be pretty tough to just get rocking as an online coach. This is where I do recommend people in the beginning, especially to gain the experience, start as an in-person trainer. Just don't try to max out your time with that. You still need time to focus on your online coaching. But that's where, I see too many people just trying to go ultra hard on the in-person training, and you've got to focus heavily on online coaching, because that's what's scalable. You can't really scale up your time here on the in-person training. You can scale up the online coaching. So you do need to structure it that way. You could do what I do and have a hybrid to where you do in-person training and online coaching. But I would definitely max out your client roster. If that's where you're at in the process, max out your client roster at, a number that gives you enough freedom over here to work on your online coaching business. All right, the third point I've got for you today, and this is one I don't hear talked about a lot, and this is a massive, massive, massive point. So just like I told you that there's not that many great coaches out there. In the bodybuilding space, there's a lot of, frankly, people that aren't very intelligent with what they're doing. Now they're throwing out pretty dangerous protocols, let's say with PEDs. I've seen so many coaches now get into this space without having a lot of expertise on this, and they're putting people in really dangerous spots. On the other side, it could be a hybrid athlete coach that doesn't really know how to program, running with lifting with, all factors in place of fatigue management, the proper diet for that. The point here is that there's not that many great online coaches out there, and even the ones that kind of get started and start making money and have a few client results, they kind of stop their knowledge right there. If you're passionate about fitness, you're going to be able to beat all the competition out there. But you have to ask yourself right now, it's not bad to be motivated by money, but is your true motivation to be a fitness coach, is it money, or is it a service mindset in helping people? Because if you truly are passionate about helping people, and you're passionate about giving people the results they want, helping them reach their goals, you're going to go far as a fitness coach, because the vast majority of people that get into this are on this side and they just want to make money with it. So on one side, the people that just want to make money with it, their knowledge stops. They're not passionate about continuing education to learn as a coach. And frankly, clients can read into when someone's passionate about something or not. If you're not passionate about helping someone, they're going to feel that within their check-ins or lack of check-ins. They're going to feel that within the service you provide. So on one hand, you're not going to have that. Whereas you take a passionate coach, the clients are going to, one, feel that passion, but then two, you're also going to be continuing to gain the education and experience needed to help people. So this is where you've got to be really, really real with yourself and ask yourself, what is your true motivation? Because you can have both. You can have, I want to help people and I want to make money online. But if you're like how a lot of people are, in that your whole motivation here really is just the making money online part, you're going to get eaten alive. I've seen it time and time and time again. And a big point here is that, guys, this does take work. This isn't like, the Tim Ferriss, 4-hour work week, all that. I work a lot. I'm working constantly, but it's because it's my passion. I love this. Most of I would say pretty much all of the really successful fitness coaches I know personally, they work their butts off. They're not people who are just, checking with clients a couple hours a day and then the rest of the week they're just doing whatever they want. They work a lot. And that's not including their own training and all of that. Point here is that you do need to be passionate about this, because this does require a lot of work. The people that are just getting into this to make a quick buck, make money online, have the most, easy cush lifestyle possible, they typically never get their wheels off the ground. And if they do, they don't last very long at all, because it is super easy to be replaced by someone who is passionate and is continuing to learn and all of that. So the point here is that you've got to be really, really real with yourself on why do you want this, because this will become like a job like anything else, even though you could be making great, great, great money at it. Why do you want this? For me, this is the greatest job in the world. I love my in-person clients. I love my online clients, and I love helping them, hit whatever goal it is, whether it's helping them do an ultra marathon, whether it's a weight loss transformation, whether it's a bodybuilding client. I'm super passionate about this, and I love this. And to me, it's the greatest job in the world. Because of that, clients stay with me for a long period of time. I don't have a lot of churn. I know other coaches out there that, because they're not so passionate about it, or because they don't have, service mindset, or they don't provide a great service, they might have a social media presence in which they get clients on, in great frequency, but they don't keep the clients. They have a lot of churn within their roster, and that's also not something you want. The beautiful thing is if you run a subscription model like what I do, and you do, monthly coaching, you could have people for literally years. So paying you every month for years. And then as you build up that roster, now you can see your monthly income is growing pretty rapidly. But those are the main points. I never see these ones talked about. This is going to kind of start the series of this, in future videos. If y'all want this, drop it down in the comments down below. And if y'all want, and in future videos, I'll give kind of a little bit more tangible steps on what you guys need to do as far as your social media, kind of funnel options, how to get, your initial clients, transformations, how to work transformation picks, all of that. But today, this is kind of more the high level, what you got to get figured out and get through your head before you even get started. Because this is not, while it's simple, it's not as easy as other people make it seem. It is a lot of work to pull this off, but it's very, very realistic. And if you're passionate about this, and you know what you're doing, as far as fitness goes and helping other people, you absolutely can make quite a bit more than $10,000 a month. But let me know in the comments if you guys want me to continue this series. If you do, I'll definitely be dropping those videos here pretty soon. Hit that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. All glory to God. God bless y'all, and have a great rest of your